I am Lee Honish. I am the former head loss mitigator for IndyMac Bank's HELOC division. Welcome to a brand new training. Is my microphone loud enough for the entire room? It is a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Paul. As he sits on the phone. We're here for the next 3 hours. My goal here is to help you help others. The byproduct of that help will be for you to get paid. I want to make this abundantly clear. If your goal here is to learn how to get listings to get paid, I'm not your guy. Lee, that sounds counterproductive. No. We're dealing with a defaulted market and a defaulted homeowner. They are scared and they are hurt. Your first job is to help them. That's the bottom line. If you're working short sales, your goal is to provide information. It is to help them. And when you do that, they will give you the listing. And when they give you the listing, they are kind enough to offer you up to 9% for your help. 9% with no skin in the game. There are investors around the country chasing 12 to 15% on flips, and that's the average. You guys can have 9%, no skin in the game. And all I'm asking you to do is help them. That's what you have to focus on. That's what this whole presentation's about. It's the only way to get listings. I would love to tell you that I'm about to teach you how to script, knock, or any of that stuff. I'm throwing all that out the window. The days of door knocking, cold calling, script reading end right here. I'm going to show you the 3 funnels tonight that I have perfected, fortunately, with my, I like to call them the guinea pig group. My coaching group has been fortunate or unfortunate to be the test model for everything that you are about to see, and this is the perfected version. I'm fortunate I have someone here from my group who's watched most of that go on. Their questions aren't about how to stack files. That's the truth. The top % don't care about that. They want to know, how do I expand my portfolio? How do I get more? How do I maintain that portfolio? Worrying about who to escalate to, how to get a pipeline, how to get a package together, it's beyond that. I want more. I want to help more. I want to get more. That's the focus. You guys are dedicating far too much time to the process of worrying about whether or not your mitigator is going to pick up the phone and give you the answer you want. I'll answer it right now. They're going to tell you the value's too high, that you have to give up a piece of your commission, and you're probably committing some kind of fraud. There, I've answered all whatever they're going to say. That's what you're waiting on hold to hear. And I'll read between the lines for all of you. We want money. We want money. We want more money. And we're prepared to tell you anything to make that happen. I'm almost obsessed about it. All right, so let's start from the start. This is your default education. I'm going to certify everybody in this room, everybody on the video. In Certified Default Advocacy Training, you will get a lovely logo. You get your own website. You get everything. I created it. It's mine. I own the trademark. You get onto a website. It's actually got marketing pieces, and it's all 100% free. You just got to do it my way. Seems simple enough. No hidden package on this one. I created it for the sole purpose of knowing one thing. I know that homeowners don't really like real estate agents. They've got a really bad reputation right now. Doesn't really matter what real estate company you're with. Being a real estate professional, you have fallen down the food chain. If you survey 4 homeowners, 3 out of 4 homeowners will tell you that they hate real estate agents. Maybe a little bit higher. You survey 4 homeowners and ask them if they hate the bank, 4 out of 4 will tell you they hate the bank. So what's the first phone call out of a homeowner? It's back to the bank. Not to a lawyer, not to a real estate professional. They call a bank. That is perhaps the most backward thing on the face of the planet. I am officially going to be 19 years sober in September. And the reason I preface that statement, the only comparison I can make on how homeowners behave, they are the equivalent of crackheads. And I wanted to qualify because people get mad at me and I don't want emails about this. I have firsthand experience of knowing what addicts look like. Homeowners are addicts. They are addicted to a concept. That concept is, I've got to save my home. In 99% of the cases, I would even dare say 100% of the cases, but I'm trying to be objective that there's 1 out of every 100. 99% of the cases when it comes to a loan modification, title is going to transfer. It's a given. Be it foreclosure, be it deed in lieu, be it a sale, be it a short, something. It's going to. Nobody stays in their house until they drop dead anymore. So you can say beyond a shadow of a doubt to a homeowner when they give you the, well, I'm talking to the bank about a loan mod. You're going to transfer title at some point. Why didn't you put yourself into that place and build that relationship? Instead, it's become more or less about, they're not a good lead, and I'm going to move on. That's going to end. Okay, we're going to put you into that place. I've never done an event this late in the day, which means that for some reason I'm even amping myself up further to keep you guys alive and awake. All right. Contrary to popular opinion, I do not believe it was Wall Street. I do not believe it was the banks. I do not believe your homeowners are in default and you are hating life because of the banks, Wall Street, collateralized lines. No. I believe it is based something on much simpler. I believe it is based on the dollar in your pocket. In fact, I'm positive it is. And I'm about to teach it to you why your homeowners are in default. Because if you don't know why they're in default, why are you trying to help them? This whole thing's about doing short sales, right? And we all believe that this is a bank-hating crowd. We're going to, go help the bank haters. Why are you hating the bank? They're letting you do the short sale. What did they do? I always think it's funny that people think I'm not pro-bank. I am the most pro-bank person you will ever meet. Your client signed the contract. The deadbeats owe the money. Come on. How can they be so angry? They're willing to do a short sale. In 2 years, if their credit criteria works, they'll lend them more money. Is this the greatest country in the world or what? Think about this. Short of your mom or one of your children, you lend out $100,000 to somebody and they short you 50% on the payoff. You're not going to lend them another $1. Banks are. I've already seen it. Same bank. Did a short sale, turned around, lent money 2 years later when it dropped right off. What a great country. I swear to God, Don King had it right. Only in America. You can short a bank and they will give you more money. We're all mad at the bank. Why? Because your homeowner didn't make a payment? Because they didn't understand what an adjustable rate mortgage is? What we're all angry about is amusing to me. What you're angry about is the fact that we're on a dollar system. Our dollar system is a little screwed up. And here's why. There's a book called Modern Money Mechanics, for those of you who don't know. By the way, this is where everybody phases out or I watch spontaneous combustion occur within my event. I'm going to teach you how the dollar works. It's a painful part of my seminar. Bear with me. It outlines the process of the fractional banking process. Again, the glazed look covers the room. Fractional banking process actually is the expansion of money. The expansion of money works simply like this. Our federal government creates a thing called a bond. They call up their buddies over at the Fed and they create $1. And they swap it out. They actually do it electronically. They'll just create $10 billion out of all this funny money paper thing. And then they just transfer it on over to the bank. 97% of all the money in the world is now electronic. That's right. There isn't even enough money for all the debt that's out there in the real world. Because we're not even taking into account interest at this point. So, the bank will then take the $10 billion and they will transfer it into their reserve. Now here's where conventional thinking and modern money mechanics come into play. In conventional thinking, if I'm going to lend you $100, therefore I'd have to have $100. Au contraire, we have modern money mechanics, written by the Federal Reserve, by the way. And the way they'd like their money spent is a little different. In fact, all you need to do, if you're a bank, is carry 10% of that. If you're wondering how that works, I don't know either, and I'm in banking. The rest of it is considered reserve. Again, I don't know either, but it's in the book. I've read the book. I don't get the book either. It really reads like stereo instructions for a bank. So this game will go on indefinitely. Ultimately, the 10 billion will expand to 90 billion because we are lending and relending and they're only holding back 10% of the assets throughout, right? So it's just basic math. So we've expanded the single dollar up to 9 times. And you do it on a grand scale. It is just ultimately a game of take it, lend it, take it, lend it. Since I'm lending it to you based on a payment rate, I only need to carry a 10% reserve because that's what the people who gave me the money said, and I can keep doing it and keep doing it. Now here's the cute, funny, ha-ha part. It also expands our debt in the process, which means by default, keyword, default, we default. We have to. We have to. To expand money again, we actually have to flatten money again. We are in a flattening period. When did it happen last time? We've had a Wall Street. That wasn't too bad not too long ago. When I first got into the market 20 some odd years ago, we had another one of these cute little real estate markets where we flattened the dollar. And not to date myself, there isn't anybody too young. There's a couple of people. Back in the 70s, remember oil and that whole fiasco? Huh? Good times. People ask me what the next big flattener will be. It won't be real estate next time. It'll be gold. I'll look like Nostradamus. You cannot keep accelerating something without a crash. And right now, it's gold. And I blame the Hoffmans and their whole little television fiasco for making the gold rush the gold rush. I mean, that's the only reason I think we know about it. It's now cute and it's trendy. But that's reality. Okay, that's real reality. We accelerate a product. It doesn't matter what the widget is. It's something to spend the money on at the end of the day and to accelerate it and push it. Real estate is a tangible commodity. It is a real thing, hence the name real. I hate to get basic here, but real. And that's it. That's all there is to it. We're flattening it out. We're defaulting on the properties, which brings us to lesson number 2. Where the hell did all the REOs go? A banker's theory. I wrote this, and I felt really kind of warm and fuzzy when I wrote a banker's theory. It's not really a theory, but for those in the know, this is how it actually kind of went down, more or less. Let's hypothetically say there's a company called Freddie and Fannie, which isn't really hypothetical anymore. They really should just change their name to the federal government at this point. But back in, we'll say, a few years ago, they went under. And they were bailed out by our federal government. And let's hypothetically say you're going to run for president. And your GDP, your domestic products in general, and your economy kind of, well, I think we can all agree based on the homeowners we work with, not so good. So you call up your buddies over at Freddie and Fannie, and you say, hey, I got a bright idea economically. Why don't we halt REOs going back onto the market? That's got to have an effect. You know what? It does. And it helps you get reelected. I mean, hypothetically and allegedly. For the last 2 years, Freddie and Fannie reps have talked about this happening. They talked about it at 5-Star. They talked about it at REOMAC. They've talked about it until their heads are going to explode. That come January of this year, REOs are going away. And here's the funniest part to this scenario, which I really find the most amusing to this. People are still surprised that the REOs are gone. There's no surprise. No surprise. The problem is you've already let the cat out of the bag. The game has started. So how do you put them back onto the market? Let's say that this works. Let's go to lesson number 3, my new favorite lesson. I'm going to optimistically say this works. Forget the shadow inventory, which is anywhere from 1 million to 3 million properties. Right? Because these are all your buddies in the real estate office who are going to tell you that we're going to appreciate 36% in the next 6 months. And that we won't have to do short sales. Right? We all know these people. I'm just waiting out the storm. It'll all be better at the end of the year. What are you talking about? It's taken us 6 years to get here. And assuming that we are at the bottom, just based on my bad math as a banker, that would mean 6 years to get out of here. Optimistically, by the way. That means no REOs return to the market in mass. That's not taking into account a possible new president who could go, this is dumb. Why are we holding 3 million properties? Somebody got to go liquidate these things. Think about this objectively. for Florida as a state. I drop 100,000 REOs into your state tomorrow. What's that going to do? And the REO people in my sort of my little humorous world that I think of, they would go, well, we'd be back in business doing REOs. No, you wouldn't. They do it online, they do it themselves, they find a way to get around you. Because ultimately what they've done with REOs is they've cut real estate agents out of the loop. It's not going to an asset management company. They'll probably become leased properties. It's a joke. And for everybody who's after a half listing per year and the pipe dream that this will all be better in a couple of months, well, we're down about 200,000 plus real estate agents from last year and counting. Because it's going to get better. You know, it's like the Wizard of Oz. Keep clicking your heels. It'll get better. It'll get better. I understand your plight. And this isn't a, ooh, scary moment for you. This is to say, I understand, you should understand, and the people in your office, they're clueless. That's the sad reality. I really, for the life of me, and I mean this sincerely, I've talked to Lee about this, I've walked around and I asked other people, what are other agents doing for a living? Seriously, what are they doing? What is their niche? What is their market? If you're going to define yourself as a short sale person, be proud of it. All right, go out and do it and live it and consume it. Go out and answer questions. Go be that helper. But even the people who work on short sales are afraid to say they work on short sales. You like barely crawl out from under the rock to expose the fact that you do short sales. You're afraid to say it in public. And it's not helping any that wherever you go, you're treated like redheaded stepchildren for wanting to work on short sales. That's just a whole different, one group at a time, I will change the masses. That's my whole thing. I get your pain. I do. For all of you that are brand new, I absolutely get it. So, you are officially at the 80-20 rule of real estate. Does anybody know what the 80-20 rule of real estate is? I wrote this. 20% of the agents work short sales. The other 80% take a half listing a month. That's the facts. 6 listings a year. If you're here for 6 listings a year, I'm sorry, I'm not here to help you. Okay, this is not my focus. My focus is to go after a much bigger number and to try to help people out. We basically dropped since last year. I think the number was approximately 1.2 to 1.3 million real estate agents. We are currently hovering around 1 million real estate agents at this moment. And it's that what you guys are doing is staggering. This 3 to 5 files thing of doing 10 hours a day and not going home and overworking, that's got to end. It's really got to end. You have to make a decision if you're going to mitigate, market, or be a realtor. You guys are all over the place. Pick a job. That's like my whole thing. Pick a job. I don't even care what the job is. You want to mitigate? Go be the best damn mitigator on the planet, all right? You want to go out and market and get more listings and be a realtor? Then go do it. Stop mitigating the file or get a system for God's sakes. But the minute it becomes over personal and it starts to consume your life, you're consuming the people around you. It's going to bleed over. And how does that not affect you trying to get new listings? You're now officially jaded if you've done this for any period of time. Everybody I've met who's done short sales for any period of time, look at Paul, yeah, 3? Spry young guy when he started this project. Truth is, it will consume you. And the trick is to not let it consume you. Have someone mitigate or get someone to take over the file. I can't stress it enough. Look, you've got both services in the room here today. That's the way I roll. Go get Lee, go get Commander, or go get a mitigator. That's it. If you're going to market and you want more listings, I do know this for a fact. You probably shouldn't be doing mitigation if you want to go get more listings. It is ridiculous. Or at least get a system that's taking care of all the work for you and telling you what to do, when to do it, and telling it's the follow-up. It's all the stuff that's eating you alive. And these tools are available. That's what I don't get. It's the 20... I'll give you the analogy. And I swear I'll drop it and we'll move forward. I know I hammer on it. You guys already know it. Golf takes approximately 2 seconds to play. The other 4 hours and 59 minutes of the game, more or less, is walking up to the next shot. But the game of golf takes under 2 minutes to play, really. It really does. It takes about a 1/16th of a second for a swing. You know how long it really takes to mitigate a file? Or am I the only one who's really figured out the math on this? Maybe an hour. If you really added up all the time you talk to the bank and the real conversation of the real mitigation, of getting to the real core of the real problem, it's under an hour. The other 3 months of your life is spent waiting for that 1 hour of Zen. So answer and riddle me this as you roll this one around in your head, because I'm gearing you up for this. You're spending 10 hours a day on half the number of files you had this time last year, and making less money, but you're working twice as hard. Kudos. Kudos. From all of you that are nodding your head going, you're a jerk. Yeah, I'm a jerk. People have seen me before going, yeah, it's just Lee. It just doesn't march around as much. You guys need to know what to say to a homeowner. You need to be an advocate. You need to be something totally different. I would love to tell you that this is something beyond us all. So what kills a short sale deal? Anybody know? I like this. Sellers. Yeah. My opinion, the more they know, the better it is. This is more of a old school joke for everybody, this particular slide. I believe in rogue EORs. In a short sale transaction, there are approximately 25 rogue EORs that you must avoid. Why am I pushing a systemized approach like that, or having someone mitigate? You know, why commander or... It's the rogue frickin' EORs. And the one way to eliminate deal killers is communication. And the one thing that is killing you about short sale files is communication. There's no automation at all. Okay, so the first place to start, the more your seller knows, the better. In my humble opinion, you can take it for what it's worth. But the seller will take a silver bullet and kill this deal at any chance they can get. If they get a better offer to do a bankruptcy, or to let it go to foreclosure because somebody on TV told them, it doesn't matter. The voice is in their head, okay? This thing will go sideways. Everybody has better credibility than you. You need to learn this and accept it. I love the fact that we're all real estate people, all right? We're in a very unique job set, okay? We're allowed to practice law with a high school diploma. Where'd my attorney go for the greatest legal joke of all time? But it's true, right? That's what we're doing is practicing law with a high school diploma. Is this a great country or what? I swear. Really think about this objectively. Those are legal documents there, all right? We're negotiating and mitigating files. You're doing marketing like somebody who's gone to college for 8 years to do marketing. You have to do all of these things to be successful at real estate. And you can do it with a high school diploma and the legal age of 18. A great country. A couple of weekend of classes and you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Someone asked me the other day, I'm hard-pressed not to tell my daughter right out of high school to go straight into real estate. I'm really. Because the longer you're in, the more you know, the more your pipeline is created, and the more time you spend in that niche, the more money you will make. We didn't really sort of arrive at short sale, we deviated into short sales. If this was a niche we were working for a period of time, it would be totally different. We all just got dropped in the center of it, and nobody knew what to do with this big bomb once it happened. Yeah, relationships are the key. So how good is your relationship with the seller? If you don't have a good relationship with the seller, this thing isn't going to move forward. Okay? How often are you talking to them? Are you keeping them up? You know, it's a big deal. Now, everyone else. Notice how it goes from sellers to everyone else. Yeah, the other 24 people in the transaction. What do I mean? The title company, the title rep, the this, the that, the person at the bank, his supervisor, all the rest of them, okay? How informed are the clients? How informed is everybody in this transaction? There is one master of this ship. It's either your mitigator or it's you. That's it. You can't have too many chefs in this project. Too many cooks in the pot. I will tell you exactly why it's taken 10 hours a day to close a file, which is just completely insane to me on some level. How informed are the agents in the transaction? I mean, if you woke up every day with the sole task of, what do the other agents know today? Are they going to call me? Are they going to request something? Who's too over-involved in the transaction? when I wrote the slide, I actually made a mental list and thought, everybody. Really, have you ever thought about this? What does the buyer's agent care about X, Y, or Z? I've always, look, for you guys, I think the same things. Like, what do you care? Why does the bank care what the buyers do? Like, the minutia of what people care about in this transaction, it's become a weird series of events that makes no sense to me anymore. Okay? And my only conclusion while teaching this to you, you are not communicating enough. So therefore, people have to guess. You're not using some kind of, wait, here's another big plug. You're not using a process software that sends them out updates. You're not using somebody who mitigates, who would call and do all this labor for you, which means you're dropping the ball on communication. Remember, the only reason a short sale fails is because it became personal. We talked about this earlier in the day. The number one reason a short sale fails is because it became personal. Everybody wants to get paid. Everyone, including the bank. The only time they don't want to get paid more money is because they got pissed off. That's it. The mitigator will kill your file because they will get paid on Friday. They just won't be getting a bonus for your file. That's it. And your recourse, in most cases, nothing. As an advocate, in my humble opinion, and the people that I teach, I do not find that acceptable. I teach people to close. I teach people to close efficiently. And I would love to tell you that the second half of your day is all about learning how to close. You guys don't care. You want more files. Great. Great. So here's my whole little prelude to closing. Get a system, get a mitigator. I don't care which. End it. End it all right now. Turn it all over, upload it, or send it off. And let it go. A-type personalities, which most of you are because you're in real estate, you're self-motivated, you're micromanaging yourself out of business. And you're dropping the ball on the communication levels. That's why it's 10 hours a day. I have studied this. I have gone into offices and consulted this. I have beat it up. I have flipped it over. I have looked at it. I have examined it. I have surveyed it. And my final conclusion is, let it go. Mitigating, there's money in it. All right? If your job is to mitigate, there's money in it. More money in being a real estate agent. To me, I'd give up a point all day long to somebody to mitigate my file if I could go after the other, 8%. That's a no-brainer in my universe. I'd go after it just for the 2% and go for volume. Let's say you go for the lowest threshold, just one end of the 3 areas you could get money on. You get to structure the deal. You get to do everything. Then turn it all over. Yay. Was it good for you? It was good for me. People are looking at me going, where's the marketing? All right, I get it. It's all good. Answer the question. Be an advocate. That's what this is about. And that's what this first part's about. This advocate presentation is about answering questions for your clients. You want to build credibility with your clients. You actually want to do marketing. I'm going to teach you how to talk to them first. Okay? So, what is default advocate? You should know. All right, we'll start right there. Default advocate. We're dealing with a piece of real property. 31 days at 5 p.m. your client is officially 30 days late, not 1 second sooner. Okay? I always love that conversation. But it's after the 1st of the month. I'm late. Who cares? You have till the 31st at 5 p.m. Then you're 30 days late. I'm not saying you're not going to get a late fee. It's just you're not 30 days late until the 31st day at 5 p.m. All right? A default advocate understands this basic concept. After 31 days at 5 p.m., there are only 2 outcomes for your homeowner. Number 1, title will transfer. Right? It'll change hands. Or they will cure it or pay it off. That's all that can happen after 31 at 5 p.m. up until the day of foreclosure. Foreclosure is a title transfer at the end of the day. That's their only outcomes after they miss that first payment. You as an advocate, which was really more of a byproduct of me trying to find something to call real estate agents that wasn't a real estate professional, that was sort of an arm's length to the whole thing. Being an advocate, you're advising your client of their options after 31 days at 5 p.m. By the way, you're all... Did they get the email with the PowerPoint yet?
Oh, yeah.
You'll be getting a copy of the PowerPoint and a copy of the audio today. So if you don't get all the notes, good. Because I tend to skip.
Everybody stops writing.
It was supposed to go before you got here. You were going to get all 57 pages of the presentation before it started. All right. So what is a realtor? Anyone know this one? This is one of my favorites, actually. I've actually included it. It's really simple. It's to protect and promote the interests of the client. That's it. We've gotten so far away from that, it's staggering. Now we're promoting and protecting the interests of a bank. I don't know this bank. I've worked for a few of them. They're not your client. Your fiduciary responsibility and relationship falls with the seller. You protect them. It's not about how much you disclose to the bank. It's not what you do for the bank. It's what you do for your seller. That's what the big R means. I am so big R these days, which to people who know me, kind of funny in a strange way. I am way pro NAR. We need to get back to this. This should be jammed down everybody's throats. There should be a booth that does a code of ethics update, where they sit there with their eyes peeled open and they're forced to read this section of the bylaw. Because we've gotten to a point where we don't get it anymore. We need to do this, or we're going to be thrown in jail because the bank deserves... No, they're not a principal. We're the principals, buyer, seller. That's it. You're the representative of either the buyer, the seller, or both. Simple. Okay. So who do you represent? You sure as hell represent the buyer or the seller in this relationship, right? Okay, so the seller owns the property, the bank is nobody. They're a beneficiary on a note. You need to convey that to your client. Okay, you need to know going in. Your job is to protect your client from the bank. Because the bank is a little questionable in their behaviors. Accept it for what it is. The agent works for the seller, not the bank. Seller and the bank have an adversarial position. If I was a bank, or if you were a bank, wouldn't you say anything you had to extract the highest yield of money possible? It's just natural to what they do. So I'm going to teach you to take the blind assumption that the bank will say whatever they have to do to get your client's information and your client's money. And if that means threatening you with your real estate licenses, then you can rest assured that it's going to include your real estate licenses. Wait, they've already done that, haven't they? Sorry, I'm a little late to the game. I think I was an innovator when I did it back in 2007 and would threaten people with it. Now it's much more on a grand scale. You guys are all just committing fraud these days. I don't know where this fraud started, but apparently it is so rampant that there are articles written every other month on the subject of, wouldn't it be nice to go to a board meeting that wasn't the 10 ways to avoid fraud in a short sale transaction? How about the 10 ways to get a listing? Every presentation I've seen is about how to avoid fraud in the transaction. Really? Is that what this is really broken down to on that, that lowest common denominator? You guys are all committing fraud for trying to help a homeowner. No. You're hiding the money in the minds of the bank people from them. And you're not giving up your commission. You're not giving up their assets, and you're not giving up their information. And they will shake the tree as hard as they can. I'm just preparing you in advance for their behavior. I am that person. I have done it. I have turned people upside down until they bleed money. I am not proud of it. I hate the fact that I've done it. Probably the reason I have done so many free presentations is to compensate for that. I don't know. I really don't know. And here's why. I enjoyed it. I'm good at it. It's all I've ever been good at is asset management. I'm cold. I'm so cold and rational about it that it's irrational. I was trained this way. And I'm telling you exactly how the bank is going to treat you in this transaction. You are an adversary. You are in my way from my money. You are in my way from my information. I have a non-documented loan, and I want the information, and I want the money. And that is the way that I will behave as a bank. Assuming going in. You will just feel better at the end of the day, because you're there to protect your clients. All right, so what are my alternatives to foreclosure? Not too hard. Deed in lieu, which is still a foreclosure at the end of the day, right? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Anybody who says differently is lying. I've read the blogs, I've read the boards, I hate this subject. If you think you're making a killing, making 1% talking homeowners into deed in lieu, unless they're getting a $30,000 check or something crazy for the words foreclosure on their credit, which, by the way, I've even had personal friends get the deed in lieu offer and the $30,000 check, where they said, Lee, what do you think? You know, I'd listen to you on this. Do you care about getting foreclosure on your credit? No. It's 30 grand. I mean, good gracious, that's a lot of money for a deed in lieu. Yeah, and a few of the banks will do some very outrageous things with deed in lieu right now. Loan modification. My humble opinion about a loan modification is that they are amateurizations of toxic debt. That's a very technical way of saying we're spreading out our losses by giving up these pieces of paper that may get us money and information. I will say definitively for your homeowners, they all qualify for a loan modification. Generally speaking, it's just not the loan modification they want. They believe in a magical thing that does not occur in the universe. There are no equity reductions, really. It's like 1 out of 100. It's even a greater number than that. I think we figured it out the other day because I do actually coach so many different agents. They're heading like 10,000 to 1 million. I mean, it's like a crazy ratio. They had to because of the government. But it's beyond a needle in a haystack. It's like a needle in the middle of 2 haystacks. And that's the homeowner who got it. An equity reduction, 30, 40 year. At the end of the day, their $500,000 loan on their $250,000 house, even if it's restructured for 30 years, is still a $500,000 loan on a $250,000 valued house. Period. Period. You know, I always try to explain it like getting your iPhone upgraded by staying on the same 2-year plan. It's like a plan that will never end. I'm stuck in the loop now. You're just going to make me pay more money in the long run. You got me. Yeah, that's all a loan mod really is. There's no quick fix to that. And in 99% of the cases with loan modifications, they wind up transferring title. They just do. We'll go into it in greater length when we talk about scripting. I'm here to talk about short sales. I don't want to say that I'm pro short sale, but I'm pro liquidation of toxic assets. Alt A subprime spit and spackle loans that nobody in their right mind would ever make a loan based on have to be eradicated so that we can lend money again, so that we can go back to the good times. And if those good times are 6 years away, that still means that we have to eradicate all of the bad loans. Now, if your client would like that by way or course of foreclosure, that's fine. They will be spending a period of time learning why foreclosures are awful. Or they can do a short sale and learn that their life will repair itself within a couple of years done correctly. The other option is bankruptcy. I will say this. I'm actually pro-bankruptcy. I've been saying this a lot lately, which people are shocked by. I'm pro-bankruptcy. After the short sale, clean it all up. You made an effort, you settled your debt, go do a bankruptcy. Get your credit card the next day, get your life back in order, go get a new car. I'm all for it. But doing it out of order is ridiculous. Not trying to negotiate the debts and doing a bankruptcy thinking they're the old rules is wrong. Make an offer, do the bankruptcy. That order. All right. So what qualifies for a short sale? Anyone? Anyone? I've now simplified it down to 3, by the way. I've made it super simple. So when you meet with a homeowner, and trust me, this next series of questions are going to be every question your homeowners have. I got them all. What qualifies for my short sale? Number 1, monetary. Number 2, relocation. Number 3, divorce. I don't actually care what the real reason is at this point. I'm just telling you what the bank cares about. It's either going to be about money, it's going to be about relocation, it's going to be about divorce. That's it. Personally, if it's about divorce, in my humble opinion, they should work it out. Because this is a very bad time to liquidate assets. Work it out, visit the house on the weekends, rent it. I don't care what you do, but selling a house in this market is silly. Which really takes it down to monetary relocation. But These are the three that the bank will recognize in almost every situation. Explaining that the house is underwater and therefore your client wants the short sale is a bad idea. It is. My humble opinion. And the fact that I still read those kind of bothers me. So, how long will the short sale take? AKA, how long can I stay here? That's really what your clients want to know. How long can I stay here? That's it. How long will this take? Who wouldn't take the client? And I've done this on scripting. When you tell them that they're not going to get the loan modification, your next, how long do you want to stay here? By telling them how long this thing will take. Well, the process could take, anywhere from 90 to 120 days, depending on the situation. There wasn't really a sale filed. This is about being an advocate to them. I've said it a lot when I'm talking to homeowners. You should take it into consideration. Once you tell them they're not going to get the loan mod they think, there's only one other question in their mind. Address it immediately. How long do you want to stay here? Every one of you in this room would line up the minute they go, can you get me to stay here for 6 months? Yeah, let me go get a contract. Right? Who isn't going to build out that pipeline on people who don't want their short sale to close for 6 months? I would take them all day long. And here's how you do it, okay? It's understanding the timeline and manipulating the timeline. And I'm going to teach you a little trick about it. Yeah, it's going to take 30 days to get the BPO ordered and 30 days to get it marketed and, negotiate and whatever. And then another 30 days. You could do it quicker. By the way, if you're not closing your short sales in 90 days, then you flat out have to get a system and you flat out have to get a mitigator. Because this is the longest it takes for almost anybody. It's much quicker for the advanced people. I'm saying this on average, it should be closing in 90 days. Right? And knowing the timelines. But let's say I want to stretch this out. So I start the 30 days, I submit my package with an investor offer that's a low ball. I list the property extraordinarily high because look, your due diligence is to protect the bank, right? That's what they really truthfully, that's really what they want you to do. They want you to list that property so ridiculously high that nobody will ever buy it. I say let's play the game with them. List it $100,000 above fair market value. And bring it down $1,000 per week. And when the bank goes, what were you waiting on? I was doing my due diligence. I was trying to get you highest and best. And that's why it took me 6 months to a year to get this offer for you. And you can say it with a straight face. And by the way, it's actually fairly diligent. It's good advice, actually. You did your very best to get fair market value, by the way. Take that one for what it's worth. It actually makes me smile when I think about it. I told somebody that the other day. They're like, how do you stretch this out for 6 months? List it at $100,000 above fair market value and bring it down $1,500 a week. I don't even care what it is. Take your time. Yes?
Can you say cash only and that makes it even longer?
Okay. Let's have a political discussion about offers. This would really go into the processing seminar, but we'll stick it in here for you. All cash offers. I don't take all cash offers ever. I don't even take LLCs. And I counter every single offer no matter what. In the current climate, if you do not counter back any offer that's submitted to you with terms that will make your short sale easier, you are foolish. You're going to get 5 offers at fair market value in 24 hours because there is no inventory, because of the lack of REOs. Number 1, I don't take cash offers. I'm going to disclose it to my seller. They are going to understand it. They are not going to accept a cash offer. And for those of you wondering why, I will explain it. My long-timers already know the answer, and that's why they're smiling. All cash, LLC, means what type of buyer?
Investor.
Correct. And how much do banks like investors?
Never.
Therefore, if I submitted a 3% FHA finance with money bleeding out of every pore on the HUD, next to and side by side with an all-cash $10,000 above fair market, which one will the bank be nicer to? The 3% bleeding money out of every pore. Yeah, I know it's counterproductive. Don't try not to understand a bank. They wrote a book that expands money, for God's sakes. Never understand a bank. It makes no sense.
Right.
And not only does it not make sense, it's beyond not making sense. I got into, look, I did an event about a month ago, and this woman literally had a core meltdown going, that makes no sense. She really did the whole, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Oh, there's dumber. I mean, I can tell you dumb bank thing. We could have a dumb bank seminar. They call it, everything in a bank is called bloody knuckle. You do a process until literally you've got bloody knuckles, and you've screamed at everybody to change the process. They will keep going and lose money on a process. I wouldn't say that directly into a camera like Equator. Until it's proved as a complete failure. I can talk about abysmal failures on the way they structure these deals. Right? Why isn't there a desktop system for short sales? We did them for loans. You got the software. Throw it up online for God's sakes. Make it subject to, just like a loan. We could have brokers doing short sales all over the country. The process would fly like this. No, we don't like that because it takes the control away. We wouldn't be able to negotiate and squeeze everybody. Give them that special appeal.
Once it goes back to the REOs, once it's their possession, then they want the money.
I know. And wouldn't we all make great CEOs of Wells, Chase, and BofA at this moment for what we know about how they process? They would deem their process successful. There are three things that extract money. One is time. The longer I take, the more you will give me. The number two is fear. All of you are. We won that game. Won that game 6 years ago. And number three is literal leveraged power. Who's going to stand up to the banks? I don't care if you're a lawyer. I got more lawyers. There's no recourse in this anymore. And here's the problem with understanding, and here, I'll bring it all back. See, I'm more focused these days. I agree. The LLC that's all cash as an offer is a better offer than the 3% FHA, BA, spit and spackle thrown together offer that's bleeding out of every pore. I agree. I agree. In fact, there's no question in my mind. It comes back to being personal. Every person who mitigates a file takes this personally. Like, they've been personally screwed by investors. They know what they're dealing with you guys. They're talked to every day and told how stupid they are. I know it's not you guys. It's the 80% I'm worried about. They get on the phone and they tell a mitigator how stupid they are. And why haven't you gotten to my file? Now, you guys who are competent come along and have to deal with that same person, and you actually know what you're doing. It's going to be... Look, all it takes is one bad day for this file to go sideways for someone in this transaction. And it's leveraged power. What is your recourse? I get paid on Friday. You don't. I didn't like you. I didn't like the way you answered the phone. I don't like investors. I don't like lawyers. Period. What's your recourse? Gonna write a letter to the president? People know this about me. I actually wrote a letter to the president. Nobody cared at B of A. They laughed at me. They sent it to the marketing department. It was a big campaign. It was a huge deal based on that dumb addendum. I said it was wrong, and it was unethical, and it was unenforceable. And I sent it to everybody who would listen. The marketing department out of B of A responded, agents are committing fraud. We had to do what was in our best interest. Then Wells wrote one, and then Chase wrote one. Now you're out of control. That's the game. Now, we can either sit and fight the system, which is pointless at this. So, they won. I always try to explain this. The banks won. Not even worth it. Yeah, you can't submit the all-cash LLC for more money that should close in 15 days with no bells or whistles. It's better to submit an FHA to a family of 75 people who are all trying to qualify for the loan for whatever means necessary with their bad FICOs that are all on the raggedy edge. And I mean that sincerely. That's what the bank prefers. If you want the conspiracy answer, well, they want to lend money, so therefore they want a loan. It's not really true, but it sounds good at least if I say it like that. Accept it. Here's what I'm trying to teach you. No point in fighting with this, just accept it. and to circumnavigate around it. Your clients are only going to ask you one question. How long can I stay here? Well, if the bank acts stupid, we could be here for a year. I'll need a 2-year listing out of you. Okay. They'll sign it. Why aren't you getting a year listing? Why aren't you getting 2-year listings out of these people? I don't, you guys want immediate gratification out of short sales. This is a long process. Yes, some close fast, some close slow. Build your pipeline. You're going to get 9%. You could get 9% on a file. We'll get there. That's just structuring that. All right. How many liens are on the property? Everybody know this? All right. First, second, HELOC, HOA, liens, taxes. For the new people, my oldies all know this. HELOCs are the only ones you really have to worry about. That's all there is to it. Home equity lines of credit are the deal breaker, deal kicker. Ask your client the questions correctly. This is a deal killer waiting to happen. Blows me away every time. This is a crazy Ivan waiting to happen. The Hunt for Red October reference. I haven't made that one in forever. This is a flat-out Easter egg in the basket. All right? Liens and taxes, and especially HOAs. You guys are super lean in some of these places. Yeah, deal killers. And trying to negotiate with an HOA. Yes, I'll bring it back just for video. It's like trying to deal with Wiccans. Okay? You're going to go track down an HOA and try to negotiate him down? That doesn't even make sense. Yes, sir?
Mortgage insurance?
Funny you should bring that up. I do have it. I will talk about it. All right, so what about deficiency judgments? That came up earlier. Okay. It happens. The Mortgage Debt Forgiveness Act, I will tell you unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, in my mind, you can actually bet hard money your house and your farm. I guarantee it's going to be extended. I already know for a fact it's going to be extended. I've already been told it's going to be extended. I know people who've actually seen what they're going to extend. Now, here's the bad news. They're going to put other things into the package as well. It's going to be what they call in the political business pork heavy. So it's got bells and whistles for other people in it. But it's coming back. The big deal, again, is about the 1099 forms. No matter how it slices and dices on deficiencies, just get a 1099. You can't double dip. He was talking about it earlier. You cannot double dip. If they're going to write it off on their taxes, right, your clients are going to want to know about deficiencies. It's going to come up. 1099 is all you have to care about. You're going to get a 1099. Well, what's that? It's going to be the write-off of the remaining debt. Well, that sounds bad. No, there's the Mortgage Forgiveness Act, or there's Form 982 of the IRS. We will get it removed. That's it. There's no big explanation here. Your clients want confidence that what you're telling them is the truth. You need to position yourself and be able to explain these things with confidence. Well, won't I have to pay the taxes? No! The Mortgage Forgiveness Act really does work, and it will be here next year, and it will be there year after. It'll be here for 6 years. Or at least until we get to a zero neutral point of view where the money was before. Of course it's going to be here. Will it change? Of course it will. Per political office, they will always add things. They always want to put their stamp and their spin. But if I was running for president, I would wait till the last second on the last day and then sign it, and it would be the biggest press conference that I could put together. And since you're the president, you can put together a pretty big press conference. And he will sign it publicly, and he will let everybody see it, and everybody will believe it's the old version of the Mortgage Forgiveness Debt Relief Act. When in fact, it will be completely different, but who cares? The general perception to the public, and all that matters to you, you will have it. And know for a fact that before the end of the year, you will get it re-signed. Why? Because the president wants to be reelected, and he's got a bad domestic product. And he knows it. That's the only reason you'd freeze REOs. It's the only reason. We're on fire domestically. Okay, there's nothing that is generating any GDP for our country. We're not producing anything. We don't do anything. We have people out of work, all right? Our real estate was going to continue to take. They did the one thing they had to do. They halted it altogether. That's the only way to stop the slide. Good or bad, doesn't really matter. It worked. All right? Bad for you guys, because nobody was prepared for it, even though everybody at Freddie and Fannie screamed it for 2 years straight. Now the next big problem. Well, if we stop the mortgage, they'll bring it back. I promise. Tell your clients, no question. You had a question? No? You okay? All right. All right. I won't get a 1099 if they foreclose. My personal favorite of all the questions that I've seen floated over the last couple of years. I'd rather just let it foreclose than I don't have to get a 1099. Your clients will say this with a straight face. I'm shocked by the question when it is posed. All right, 1099A and C. Know the difference, learn the difference, be the difference. 1099A is the one they get on foreclosure. Well, yes, you get to pay the taxes even if they foreclose. 1099C is the good one that the Mortgage Forgiveness Act allows you to just kind of slough off. It's a great country. You can forgive the taxes on the outstanding debt, clean up your life with a credit cleaner, and in 2 years go lend money again. I don't know why we aren't more pro-short sales. I don't even care what's going on in your life. I think you should short sale your house and go buy a new house. All right? I really cannot understand. Look, if I was out day to day doing more marketing than I already do, which is a staggering, wouldn't be that much more. It's still too staggering for my day as it is. I deal with defaulted homeowners. I would much rather go after happy, healthy people who have money, who can actually borrow money again. I'd be their biggest, what are you doing in this house? Go buy the house across the street. Twice the house, half the price. That'd be my pitch. All day long. I'd be so pro-short sale that it'd be ridiculous. I don't know why. You want to know why you're not doing it? It's called strategic default. And it's been deemed as fraud. It is not. And you know what that's caused? People with $1 million or greater homes to default in a greater number. Because they do get it. So they'd rather default so that they could go get the house across the street at half the price. Brilliant. Brilliant. Instead of doing short sales and liquidating what they want liquidated, that's what this market is. And what I'm trying to teach you guys, you don't have to be the expert of all of this. You just have to understand it. Okay? And trying to fight the system is stupid. All right? This is what's happened. Not happening. It's happened. All right. Let's have my big discussion. And I do like my little guy choking. He's great, isn't he? Lee, where do you get him? The stuff you can find on the web. Little faceless gnomes choking. Won't a short sale hurt my credit? On credit, and I'm going to do this on camera, and I can't believe I'm going to say it. I would personally like to thank Dave Ramsey for screwing up people's belief on whether or not a short sale will hurt somebody's credit. Because apparently, he believes that a foreclosure and a short sale have the same credit impact. And he said it publicly. Now, here's the truth about the World Wide Web and our media in general when it comes to any of this stuff before I show the truth of how it works. Your clients can confirm or believe any philosophy or belief they want on any cable channel or any internet site. And it apparently has more credibility than any of you because it's online. And the voices in my head told me so. Well, good for you. Okay? We lack so much position with a homeowner that they will believe a conspiracy website, a bank, and somebody on TV over somebody who's done 100 short sales. That's awesome. I could keep going on this and see how much further down the food chain you guys have actually fallen in all this. I mean, I feel your plight. I really do. I coach you guys for a living. But it's just so much better to accept it and go, yeah, okay. You can believe that if you want, but here's the truth. Okay, short sales, settled for less than agreed, settled for less than full is how it's going to be marked. What hurts a person's credit, you as being an advocate, explaining why this is okay for them, very simple. It's the 30, 60, 90-day delinquencies on their credit that hurt their credit. It has nothing to do with settling a debt. It can have up to a 200-point hit on their credit. It can. And after a vast survey, and many questions asked on my part on the subject, it's not even consistent. Sometimes it's 0, sometimes it's 200. But I do know one true fact. In 2 years, it drops. Period. Which means in 2 years, I can hire somebody to go who's a credit repair person, let them clean it up for the next couple of years, and in 2 years, this whole thing drops off, and they can start over. But the belief that a foreclosure and the short sale have the same credit impact, it doesn't have the same job impact, it doesn't have the same residential impact. They're not even in the same they're not even in the same ballpark. I mean, it's the difference between a Little League field and Yankee Stadium, for God's sakes. It's night and day. Okay, yeah, they're both baseball fields, I guess. Yeah, you can say that. That's where they're similar. They're both on credit. That's where they're similar. And yes, the 30, 60, 90s are what caught the catalyst to the situation. But the accelerant, the actual problems they have, it's not from doing the short sale. It's from being 30, 60, 90 days delinquent.
That would include deed in lieu as well, right?
Deed in lieu is a foreclosure, so it will be marked as a foreclosure on their credit. So that's 5. Here's the big difference: 5 years, 2 years. Foreclosure, 5 years. Short sale, 2 years. Where this myth came up, that short sales and foreclosures have the same credit impact, I have no idea. I have speculated some of its locations, or the people who perpetuated some of those ideas. I don't like any of them, but they're no fun. Well, what if I have mortgage insurance? That was the question posed. Let's have a discussion. I will teach you quickly. Your clients will ask. And actually, when I wrote this, it was written a different way. I have mortgage insurance, ? Yeah, they don't even know they have mortgage insurance, which is kind of funny. Forced placed, kind of cool by the bank. My equivalent is I know the person next door is an arsonist, so I took out fire insurance on his house for him. And I'm the beneficiary of the loan. That's what the banks did. How cool is that, right? I mean, look, we made crappy loans, so we took out mortgage insurance because we knew it was a crappy loan. It's a great country or what? Talk about deregulation. How do you do that? Forget the whole lending money without having the money in your pocket. That's a cool trick. All right, I like that one. That's just putting a bank out of business. We can put they put the insurance industry out of business. We're going to buy insurance because we know these are all-day subprimes. What? Is it? No, for all the government we have, didn't somebody go, wait a minute, that might be a bad idea? Yes, in fact, we did. It got re-regulated back under the Clinton administration so that they could do it. Great country, right? All right. Sorry. By the way, the greatest real estate agent in the country, the Clintons. They're the greatest realtors of all time, which they were. They're the greatest real estate professionals of all time. I will say unequivocally. They are the best. In Arkansas, no less. I mean, they were into land deals, and they made lots of money doing what they did. And they did it well. Nobody really knows that, but yes.
Can I ask a stupid question? Sorry, everybody, I'm really new.
There's no bad questions.
But I used to be a teacher, that's why I know I can ask it. If someone has a home, they know they're underwater, they have not missed any payments, and they still do a short sale. If they still kept up to date.
You're talking about they're current,
Yes.
Well,
right?
They're current, they've paid everything.
And they want to do a short sale. Why do they want to do the short sale?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because they're still underwater.
Okay. Don't ever tell a bank they're underwater. They're relocating or they're going through a divorce. Got it? We're relocating or we're going through a divorce. I personally like divorce because they never seem to ask for any paperwork.
How far is far?
Am I the only one who notices they never ask for divorce paperwork when you're doing that one? We're going through a divorce, so we have to liquidate our assets. Oh, darn.
But
Yeah. You cannot tell the bank the reason you want a short sale is based on being underwater.
But you're saying if they have the assets, then they can't.
Okay, I always say theoretically. There's no theoretic to it. You can just literally tell the bank, look, we're doing a short sale. That's it. That's all there is to it. We're current. We're moving. They will do it. They will tell you they don't do it. They will tell you you have to be delinquent. It used to be a part of all my earlier seminars where I used to do this big, long diatribe about current short sales as well. And it's all a lie. It's a big myth about the bank. And here's why. What exactly are you going to tell the bank that's going to threaten us? The funniest part about short sales, in my humble opinion, you're the hot chick at the dance. You are. I want to go home with you. You have all the money. You have what I want. You have it. But literally on the drive to the dance, I'm telling you that if I get a better deal, I'm going to kick you out of the car, and you're okay with it. When you're current, you have no power. The bank's in complete control, and they know it. Unfortunately, for most of you who do short sales, for some reason you buy into the power of the bank, even though you have the money. You have the money. You have the money. We have no game. We have no game plan. We can't liquidate. There's no REOs. We have to do the short sale. We have to. We literally have to do the short sale to make any money in this transaction, to liquidate the toxic asset, right? But for some reason, you guys have all sucked into, they're just going to foreclose. I have to do what they say. What? There shouldn't even be, like, the discussion about what we were talking about with the HELOC. What's the discussion here? There's no recourse. There's no recourse. Why are we having this discussion? You're getting money. Why do I feel like an idiot? Because I'm arguing on the phone with a person, especially first, okay? HELOCs I kind of get. First forecloses, second's a HELOC. HELOC's going to go and collect after the fact because it's a home equity line of credit. It's got credit terms. They will go and try to collect, right? That's what I was explaining to you guys. So I kind of get that. 10% on the table is a good take for a HELOC. But let's talk about the first in all of this. Why is there even an argument? Here is the money. Here is what fair market value is. Why are we having a discussion? I'm going home now. I'm taking all of my toys out of the sandbox, and I'm leaving. In fact, I want 10% commission, or I'm going home. Honestly, if realtors actually united, I've said this a million times, if we would have united under a common banner as realtors and said, we want to get paid 10% for doing a short sale, they'd have done it. That's the sick part. They'd have done it, and they wouldn't have batted an eye about it. But we all rolled over for the bank. I'm not pretty, I'm not special, they'll just keep me out. I have to do what they say. You're like in a battered relationship. You really are. You are literally in a battered relationship where you actually believe that a bank would magically rather foreclose than do a short sale. That doesn't even make sense in a rational universe to me, on some level. I really have a hard time trying to digest that. Me too, and mine. It's actually a great analogy. It's brand new, on the fly. All right.
Can I say?
Yes.
How much does it cost them to foreclose?
The what?
What does it cost to foreclose?
What does it cost to foreclose? It no longer matters because there are no more foreclosures anymore. What did it cost before? It was approximately 20 to 25% of whatever the net would. Generally speaking, if you figure out what fair market value is and you took about 20% off the top, somewhere in that range.
To tell the owners because they
It would go.
it
could go as high as 25% based on holding time and costs. But generally, whatever it is today, to what I'd be able to sell it for at foreclosure, which used to be my claim to fame with a big bank calculator and show you all the numbers. I don't do it anymore. There aren't any foreclosures. Generally, about 20 to 25% of whatever fair market value is today. Used to be. Now here's the funny ha-ha part. The bank has no position at all. In fact, it looks like to me they've been beating you so badly that they were getting ready for the moment when they had no power at all. Because truthfully, now if you all jumped on a chair and said, we're not going to do short sales at all, the banks would flip out. They would flat out flip out. They would do whatever you told them to do. They'd be the most receptive partner in the history of real estate. You would never, it would be a turnaround. We were a little wrong about saying you guys all committed fraud. In fact, we think you're great real estate agents. In fact, we're going to contribute money and we're going to create institutes for all of you. In fact, we're going to give you leads for free. We will do everything in our power to make you all our friends. We have been a little irrational up until this point. They had all the power because they could foreclose and still liquidate and get a piece back. They're no power anymore. They're done. It ended the day Freddie and Fannie and Wells, Chase and B of A put the halt in. Not only that, they're halting NODs now. They want to do short sales so bad, they really should have billboards out in front of the banks going, we do short sales. That's all we do. Come in for a loan mod today, leave with a short sale tomorrow. I mean, that should be everybody's catchphrase. But what is the common philosophy and belief of an agent? They're going to foreclose if I don't give them more. What is their recourse if you don't give them more money? Are they going to foreclose? No, they're not going to foreclose. They're going to hold. It's not even a foreclosure. They're transferring title back to the original money source. It's not going to be liquidated. It will become a held asset, and a held asset doesn't generate a dollar. It's terrible. It is so toxic, it's frightening. And I don't know what they were thinking when they actually started this car crash.
But there is no 5 years limitation for them to sue the person. If a year pass, they cannot do anything against that person anymore.
If it's my money, and most of the money on the market right now is based on Wells Chase, is really based on Freddie and Fannie. Okay, they're really sort of the source of where the money was from. All the investor stuff, that's a different topic for a different day. Let's just say we're talking about Freddie and Fannie, which is 99% of the money right now on the market. It's my money. I want it held. I want you to hold the asset, and I want you to service and hold my asset until I tell you you can liquidate it. Now it's costing Wells Chase and B of A money to physically hold and stop assets. Really think about this on a global scale. They've done it with millions of properties right now. It's costing them money to hold it. They're not only going to make less money by doing this, okay, in the long run. They're betting that the market recovers so greatly that they'll be able to put them back on the market for a greater return. That's got to be the bet. Or you go into long-term leasing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no win on this subject. So when you're talking to a bank and they give you some load of crap about we're going to just foreclose on this, and do what? Hold it? They're going to get less than 20 or 25% of fair market value lost on it. You're looking right now at 30% loss of value or 40% loss. You've got to hold it. You've got to hire people to hold it. You've got the liability. Forget going into the business of being property management, which is a staggering concept. All right? On millions of properties to try to generate nickels? Nickels on hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's how far out of control this is. That's a very big segue from MI.
What is NOD and why they stop foreclosure?
The what?
NOD. What is NOD and why they stop?
Why are they halting NODs?
What is NOD?
What is it?
Notice of default, same as less pendants
Oh,
for you.
notice of
Sorry.
default,
I was
okay.
talking internationally for a split second there.
And then why they stop foreclosures?
List pendants and NOD are a scarlet letter that basically notifies somebody they're not making payments so that the other 80% who don't really work on short sales or real estate can all go knock on their door and yell, "Surprise, I'm awesome, hire me to do your short sale." Is that good for you, Paul? Did you like that one? That was just for Paul. Hold on.
Weren't they considering selling those blocks of homes to investors?
That's the rumor.
Yeah.
And I actually know all the investors, or at least the ones with the biggest loads of capital. None of them have bought any of these hypothetical packages. And I've even called my sources who back 5 years ago were buying Freddie Fannie packages. They've never seen any of these packages that are supposedly on the market either. So here's my final belief at this moment. That's good press to get everybody believing that they're liquidating notes. But nobody seemed to have bought. We all seem to have heard about these notes being sold, but nobody really knows anybody who's bought one of these notes.
Yeah, who's
Now that's some very good press. Here's my rule of thumb for everything in short sales. When somebody tells you they know somebody who knows somebody, no matter what the topic is, I know somebody who knows somebody who got an equity reduction. I know somebody who knows somebody who got this. I know somebody who knows. You've all heard it.
Yes.
Here's the next words you say. I'd like to go meet them because I don't believe it. And my general rule of thumb for the people that I have taught over the last couple of months is this, and it's real simple. There will be lots of forces knocking on the door that will divert you from your primary purpose. And your primary purpose is real simple. Liquidate the damn property. Go help the bank, even though they're trying to shoot themselves in the foot. The bank wants you to do the short sale. I'm being very pro-bank at this exact moment for you. They want the short sale. They won't say it publicly. They want the short sale. Your job is to do the short sale, even though the bank won't help you. And they will attempt to drown themselves in the process. And completely screw this up. And make your lives a living hell. They still want you to do the short sale. And since I can find no other viable form of real estate for you to do as a profession, you have no choice. That's a good pitch. I like it.
Why they stop foreclosure and what about the people who got the notice of foreclosure?
What about the people who got the notice? The
Who
list
foreclosed?
pendants? What about them?
Yeah, what about that?
What
Are
about
they going to close it or not?
They're not being foreclosed upon. They just got a notice. We'll talk about it. We're going to do psychology after the break. We're going to take a break in just a second, and I will full tilt explain the psychology of every homeowner you will encounter. This is the prelude to all of your marketing. This is the back end. We're going on a journey. It's a lovely journey. Now to answer the MI, I love talking about this stuff. I feel bad for all the people of my life because this is all I seem to know about. All right.
Oh, really?
Yes. This is all I ever talk about. Even in my personal life. I don't, this or House MD, this is all I talk about. You can ask people who are on my coach. I talk about Disneyland, House, and short sales. That's all I talk about. That's all I know about. Period. All right, so MI, to answer your question really quickly, I'm going to teach you the quickest trick ever on MI. The bank will use it as a tactic. Your client probably didn't know that they had MI to begin with. If they start off the conversation by saying you have PMI, they probably don't have MI. PMI is a company. Although it is the highest provider of MI, statistically it's not always PMI. People use it by term by default. Here's how you tell the difference between real MI on a file and fake MI. Ready? It's tough. Hi bank, what's the name of the MI company? If they answer, I can't give you that information, it probably doesn't have MI, statistically. Because those that have real MI will go, oh, here's the name of the company, here's the phone number, and here's who you want to talk to. That's the difference. Is that to say that the banks will lie, and I'm saying this on direct video, and I've said it a million times anyway, so not much more of a ditch I can dig, and since I'm generalizing, yeah, hell yeah, I've done it a million times. I've said things about files that I'm like, how did you believe that? How do you know a bank's, we'll do the big haha knock knock joke, how do you know a bank's lying, right? You can hear him breathing on the other end of the line, right? That's all there is to it. Paul and I were talking about that one earlier. If you can hear breathing, they're lying, all right? And truthfully, here's the first lie. They're dead on the inside, all right? The person on the other side of the phone, they're not really breathing. They're waiting to die. They want the end of the day to come. They want to go home. They're drawing a paycheck. They hate everything about their jobs. The ones that enjoy their jobs, you should be afraid of. They're like me. We're scary, okay? You shouldn't enjoy that kind of work ever. You shouldn't relish waking up in the morning going, woo, I get to go talk to a bunch of people about mitigating short sale file. That really. And if you're right now thinking, I can't wait till I call a bank, you got a problem. I mean, really, you've got a substantial, woohoo, I get to go talk to a bank tomorrow. What? Did you say it with a straight face? What? Why would that be exciting? I can think of, look, I would rather move someone or paint someone's house. And people who know me, the two things I hate most in this life are moving and painting. There's one that I would move into a greater position. Mitigating a file sucks. Oh my God, I have never understood your passions with doing those. Certainly without like some kind of system in place, because you guys make them all too personal. It's got to be a cookie cutter. It's got to be a process. Everything I'm teaching here is a process. Yeah, they're going to lie about MI too at the end of the day. Are they going to want money after the close? Let me help you out. Yeah, they are. Yeah. And generally speaking, it's because you told them they had money. Your clients tried to do a loan mod, they're current, they got strong financials, it's a large loss, it's got MI. Come on. I know why they want money on that HELOC. One of these covenants is in place on that particular HELOC that we were talking about earlier. More than likely. You don't try to squeeze for more money unless you believe there's money there to go after. And since it's not a cookie cutter process, and I'm just following the directions of the next thing I do here, the next thing I do here, okay, I kill the file. Kill the file, take their money away from them. Watch them change their tune. That's one of the best things to do. It comes down to cash to time. Now, if there's an option in my universe, is there something I can do? Yeah, take a promissory note. Come on, it's an IOU. It doesn't even go on their credit. I'm a huge fan of them. Your clients are already prepared to shaft them for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why not on a promissory note at this point? Did I just say that on a camera? Oh my God, Lee, that sounds like fraud. You're doing a short sale! You're shorting them money! What bank really in their right mind thinks that they're going to get paid on a promissory note? They didn't pay him before. What are they going to pay him for? Does anybody really rationalize this one besides me? I want you to really put this one together in your mind. The bank offers you a promissory note, right? To someone who didn't pay them.
Right.
Right? Why wouldn't you take the promissory note all day long? I'm going to explain why we do it.
They don't think you're gonna pay it?
Come on. You didn't pay us before, you're not going to pay us now. Come on. I'm not saying they're not going to get a judgment. I'm not going to say they're not going to try to make you pay. I'm not saying that. Nor would I say that on camera. That would be dumb and irresponsible. I can say that I've heard cases of them getting lost. I've heard cases of them not getting serviced. I will tell you from my own personal perspective of taking them, on my books, it shows that I got a higher return on that asset, and it's somebody else's job to go do the servicing. They didn't pay their original loan, and you gave them another loan? Their hardship was they lost their job, and you just took a new loan from them? From an underwriting perspective, let's really look at this for a split second. I'm going to make you all underwriters. You don't have to be rocket scientists on this one, really. This isn't years and years of college to be a professional bank underwriter. The hardship is you can't pay me. I'm going to hand you a new loan. What? What? Isn't there a memo that would come down the line on this one going, am I the only one who saw that one? All right. Bloody knuckle. I don't know why promissory notes are even a discussion. If they are, because your client foolishly explained that they had a 401k or money or something, take the promissory note all day. What are you kidding? It's a freebie. Yeah, they might collect. Maybe they won't. They'll also negotiate it after the fact, just like a short sale too. Yeah, they do. And there's no credit implications on promissory notes. They have to disclose it about their credit. Too bad we don't have my attorney here anymore. That's a really good topic.
Isn't that what they offered?
The what?
This lady was given a scenario before, 10,000.
Yeah.
Was it HELOC?
HELOC, home equity line of credit.
That is not a promissory note.
No. A HELOC is a home equity line of credit. It's just like a second. There's a difference between a second and a HELOC. I'm sorry I breezed through that one really fast. HELOCs are credit. That means the first goes to sale, they still have credit terms. A true second, you can give them a toaster and a handshake and they should go away on a short sale. A second gets wiped out if the first forecloses. A HELOC still has its credit line, so they can still collect. And there are firms that collect very well. And the biggest firm is out of Ohio. And I'm prepared to remove all of the state of Ohio. I'm sorry to Ohio. And I like Grater's Ice Cream. I like Cedar Point. I like Ohio. I actually do. But to get rid of this particular company, I'm prepared to wipe out the entire state. They're evil. Oh my God, they're evil. Look, for me as a bank guy who was evil to say, they're evil. I mean, like they're collecting on a dead HELOC is like stealing coins at a funeral out of a dead person's pocket. Okay? They were foreclosed upon, left for dead at the side of the road, and now you're trying to wring blood out of them after the... That has got to be the most... From an asset management perspective, that's the lowest rung of hell. There is a special place in hell for people who collect on those files. Yeah, I said that on camera too. I've collected on dead people, by the way. I will say that unequivocally for myself. I foreclosed on dead people, so what do I know? In the very back row, sir.
So is that what you can get a promissory note to wipe the HELOC out?
You can. If that will get me a rent, in her particular case, one of my points for your HELOC that we were discussing earlier, why not take the promissory note to get them up?
Right.
Will they take a promissory? No. They want cash to close. Was the promissory discussed? Offer them the remainder as a promissory. See if they'll take it. Yeah, it's a negotiation tool. I agree. You can, look, the game is negotiation. Throw something on the table. It saves you from killing the file and escalating the file. Throw a promissory note on the table. They'll pay it or they won't pay it, but generally speaking, they didn't have any money the first time. And if they're crazy enough to, again, how would you ever offer a promissory note if you're a bank? They didn't pay you the first time, and the hardship is, I don't have a job and I don't have money. There's no underwriting control for that one. You would think common sense would kick in at that point. All right, we'll take a quick 5-minute break. When we come back, now that you're all prepped up and excited with that, we're going to do nothing but marketing for the rest of the night.